Hi, so this is part of the Healthy Happy Shoulders series of videos, and today we're going to look at the movement of the shoulder blades on the back and feeling a little bit of weight bearing and load through the shoulder girdle, just practicing that in quite a gentle way. And this is kind of a great prep movement for things like planks or lowering down to your mat from plank pose, which is a pretty challenging position. So this is a kind of precursor to that to practice. Okay, so first you need a surface of some kind. Your kitchen surface will be fine. It could be a mantelpiece or a windowsill, something like this. And ideally you want your hands a little bit lower than your shoulders rather than up here, just somewhere a little bit below. And then just find a diagonal position with your whole body. And we're thinking of keeping the body in a straight line. So rather than a big lower back dip, you could squeeze your glutes a bit and feel like you're lengthening down through your lower back. So slightly tilting your pelvis so that your hip bones lift up towards your chest and you feel like you're in a straight line. And then from there, we're just going to squeeze the shoulders up to the ears and pull them down again. And pushing your hands into the surface can just kind of help you have a sense of stability and control to move your shoulder blades and slide them up and down your back. So just doing a few of those, squeezing them up, and especially feeling that pull down, which is more challenging for most of us. Also a good thing to focus on is your rib cage here. Think of your ribs pulling back a bit to give you a sense of containment and core strength joining in. Two more like that, just slowly squeezing up and slowly pulling down, seeing if you can feel the muscles around the bottom tips of your shoulder blades. Last one. Okay, and we're going to keep the shoulder blades pulling down the back, feeling some muscles engaging around the front of your ribs there. And then this time, arms are going to stay straight. We're going to squeeze the shoulder blades together and you'll feel your body move towards your surface a little bit. And then push the surface away and feel your shoulder blades slide round to the sides of your back for protraction. And then again, squeezing them together, push the surface away and feel your shoulder blades slide around the sides. You might feel some firming in the muscles under your armpit there. And you can vary how wide to have your hands when you do that. Sometimes wider hands can feel a bit more accessible. So see how that goes. And also the other thing to watch out for is when you're squeezing your shoulder blades together in retraction and your body's moving towards the surface, it's easy for them to creep up to your ears a bit. So keep them really pulling down the whole time, and that will use even more muscles on your back. Let's do three more. That's one, squeezing two, and last one, three. Okay, and then have a little rest. So for the next one, it's going to be the same position, except as you press your palms into the surface, we're going to go up on tiptoes. And this will put your body in the right position for what we're going to do next. You can vary how far away to be from your surface. You can try different distances and see how that goes as well as different widths of your hands. To start with, maybe hands a little bit wider will be a better position to try. And then we're going to pull the shoulder blades down the back, push the surface away so that the shoulder blades protract to the sides of the back. Feel a sense of pulling in at your front ribs, your trunk a little bit. And then from there, just bend your elbows a little bit so that you move towards the surface and then slowly push away. Pull those shoulder blades around the sides of your back again. Bending the elbows, the shoulder blades, you might feel start to squeeze towards each other and then slowly push away. So it doesn't need to be a big bend in the elbows. You might start with just a tiny bend and push away. The purpose of this is just start to feel the strength of the shoulder girdle as it pushes against the weight. You're kind of using your body weight here to load the muscles of your shoulder girdle. And that's going to make the muscles work harder to support you. So some muscles contracting short, some muscles lengthening and holding themselves. And see how that feels. Okay, we're going to do three more however much you are bending, just see if you can add a tiny bit more. Finding the protraction at the top, shoulder blades squeezing together a bit as you move towards your surface. This is our last one. Pushing away, come down with your heels and have a little break. Give your hands a little bit of a circle or shake your hands out. So hopefully that just helped you start to feel a bit of engagement and loading of the muscles of your shoulders. And this is just great practice to start to build confidence with that before you do things like planks or as preparation for that. So our next one, we're going to do sideways on. And if it's uncomfortable on your palm on the surface, one thing you can do is just fold a tea towel and put it under your palm there for a bit of padding. And then we're going to lean away from the wall, standing sideways on or your surface, and then pull your shoulder down away from your ear again. See if you can access the firming of the muscles under your armpit. And then from there, we're just going to let the hips sink down towards your surface, and you might find your elbow bends as you do that, and then do a slow push away again, almost like you're pushing your hips outwards away from the surface. And then repeat, slow dip down. I'm keeping my legs really straight, and then pushing away. Just trying that 3 more times to make 5. Leaning in and pushing away. And the slower you go, the more the muscles have time to work out what to do and coordinate. And also the muscles will work more. So a slow dip down and then a slow push away. And then we're going to stay pushing away. Reach your far out to the side arm up and take it up and over your head. Your arm might be forward of your face, it might be more up towards your ear. So feel like you're sideways on. Let the front ribs draw in a little, and then just breathe all along that bending side. You're bending across like a banana shape, and just let yourself breathe into that sense of stretch all along your side. Couple more breaths there. You're still pushing the surface away with your hand. And notice what you're doing with your head. Is it kind of collapsed out of the movement? You could be looking down at the floor. You could face forward. You could look a little bit upwards towards the ceiling. You could be moving your head through that range. And the last little bit of length at your waist. And then relax that arm down. And give your hands another little shake. Okay, doing the second side of that, I'm going to just do the same side so that you can see me and talk you through one more round. So this is your second side. So standing away from the wall or the surface you're pressing into. And again, there's no set place. It'll feel slightly different depending how far away you are. See how it goes. My feet are together, legs straight, feeling like I'm sideways on in my trunk. And then from there, just let your hips dip down towards the surface and then push yourself away. That shoulder's pulling down. Feel the muscles along your side as well. Dipping in and pushing away. You can add a breath rhythm if you like. You could exhale to dip, inhale to push away. No set breath rhythm, just find something that works. Dipping in. Slow push away, feeling this shoulder strength. Last one. And just to say, if you need to make that gentler, where you're just doing a tiny little dip in and out, all of that will still progress you to be able to load your shoulders and use your body weight more and more. So even starting really tiny is helpful. Okay, and then staying pushed away this time, turn the outside hand to face the ceiling. Inhale to reach it up and over. And then find that position of the top arm that works for this shoulder. So it might be a bit further forward of your face, your nose. It might be more up by your ear. The hand that's pressing into the surface, just let that shoulder drop down. And then just find some slow, full breaths. So you can really push your hips away from the wall and get a sense of lengthening all along the side. You could look down, to the side, up, or a little bit of each. Smooth, even breaths. And then exhale, come on back down. Take both hands to your surface again, and this time walk your feet away a little bit more. And we're going to come into a half forward bend. Try and move my greenery out of the way. So you need to walk away a little bit further. I've now got my feet hip width apart. Bend the knees as much as you need and take your hips back. We're feeling that forward tilt of the pelvis, anterior pelvic tilt. So you're letting your sit bones lift up, your hip bones drop down towards the mat. Feel like you're lifting your backside upwards towards the ceiling, and then start to push your surface away with your hands. And we're aiming to feel like the feet are underneath the hips, and also aiming to feel like the back is flat rather than rounded up. Can you bend your knees, lift your sit bones and flatten out your lower back? Now if your surface is pretty much the same height, you're managing to get a straightish line from your hips to your hands, that's going to be quite challenging for the shoulders. So you could try taking your hands wider. You could just come up a little bit higher rather than stretching out to your max. So see how it feels. If your hands are a bit higher, it's generally a little bit less mobility work for your shoulders. And then wherever you are, just line up your ears with your upper arms. Feel like you're pushing the wall away. And then just find some breaths along your side. So it's as if your hands push forward, your hips pull back, and from your hips to your shoulders, that side body gets lengthened out. You might also be able to sense into the spine, lengthening out all the way through to the crown of your head. Slow, smooth breaths along your sides. And then from there, another nice variation to do here is to think of doing a cat-cow in this shape. So you could bend your knees a bit more, you could walk a bit closer to the wall, and see how it feels to round your spine up. So I'm bending my knees even more, and then let the sit bones lift and let your chest drop down towards the floor. Rounding up again, I'm exhaling to do that, and then inhaling, coming the other way. Just see what movement you can find right through your spine all the way to your neck, and also feel how your pelvis is tilting forwards and backwards. Helps to get some stretch into the backs of the legs as well, and you're stretching into your shoulders the whole time. So that can be quite intense for a lot of us, so you might find just a little bit of this half forward bend, as I call it, half forward bend at the wall. Just a little bit might be enough. And then walking back in, and our final move using the wall is a forward bend. So it can be a nice one, is to bring the back of your pelvis to the surface, walk your feet away a little bit, slide your hands down your legs, and then just keep going, let your back round, knees can be really bent, and then just let your head release down until you're in a forward bend. You can hold your elbows to do it. You could let your hands just drop down and rest on top of your feet, and take a few breaths into your back. And the nice thing about this is you can really push the back of your pelvis into the wall as you fold forward and breathe. Pushing down through your feet, letting your back push, your sit bones push into the wall, and just breathing into your rounded back, letting your head and neck completely release. You can have the knees really bent, almost as if you're sitting on a chair. Taking a few breaths. You could sway a bit side to side. And then a last movement here is to take one hand to the waist, one hand's on the floor, and just turn yourself a bit to the side. A little bit of a twist, a rotation of your trunk and spine. Same to the other side. You could even hold an ankle to do this. Push down through your ankle and turn to the side. And rolling back up. And there you have it, a little standing at the wall or a raised surface practice. So let me know how that goes, and look out for the other videos in the Happy Healthy Shoulders series.